Good morning. Glad I got a chance to spend some time with you today. Today's a special day for Pat and I because today is our 43rd wedding anniversary. Been married for 43 great years, and so looking forward to today and many more years together with her. Looking into our leadership, the different principles, we come to principle number 7, the seventh principle. And that is a principle in which when Nehemiah, he went before the king, and the king says, "Why you're sad? What's going on?" And he said, "I prayed to the Lord in heaven." And then Nehemiah goes and says, "Send me to Jerusalem so that I can rebuild the wall." And so it leads us to the next principle, and that principle is great leaders know they have to take the next step before they'll ever reach the final goal. So many times people have a desire to get to the final goal without taking the next steps. And so they try to skip over things and they try to push things and rush things. Yet a great leader understands he has a plan and the plan has steps, and you got to go through those steps in order to reach the final goal. Before Nehemiah could ever rebuild the walls of the city, to repair the walls, before he could ever do that, he knew that he had to get the king's permission to send him back. And so what happens with people who are not great leaders is what happens is they rush ahead, they get things out of order, and before you know it, they've got to backtrack because they never put things in their proper place. They need a plan in order to know how to get where they want to get. In other words, to get to the final goal. Nehemiah had a plan. The thing that he had to do is he had to follow the steps in order to reach his final goal. He didn't skip steps. He did not eliminate steps, but he knew, first, I need permission. Secondly, I need to be able to get my provisions. And so he planned that, what he needed to do in order to accomplish the goal. Great leaders take the next step. They don't skip steps. They don't eliminate steps, but they know the next step they need to take, and they take it. It was very difficult for Nehemiah to ask. It was very difficult for him to go and say, "I need to leave. I need to go back. Will you allow me to go?" Yet he took that step because he realized without ever taking that step, he'll never reach his final goal. So great leaders take the next step. That's what we need to do. What's the next step in your life? What's the next step in your walk with Christ? What do you need to do to get to that final goal? And our final goal ought to be to stand before God and have the Lord look at us and say, "Well done, thy good and faithful servant." What is the next step in your life? Is it to get deeper into God's Word? Is it to spend more time in prayer? Is it to get more active in church? Is it to get more active in a ministry in the church? You know, we don't need to waste our life. We need to take the next step and allow God to use us to get to that final destination where we stand before Him and He says, "Well done." I hope you have a wonderful day, and I'll see you tomorrow.